Welcome to today's episode where we dive into the world of mergers and acquisitions with Luciano Vital, a titan in the field with over 250 M&A deals under his belt and a key player in a joint venture with Saeed Group owned by the private office of Sheikh Saeed bin Ahmed Al Maktoum. Starting his career in the volatile markets of 1990s Brazil, Luciano has navigated the evolution of M&A from a pre-internet era to today's AI-driven landscape. In this episode, we explore three key questions. What was the M&A world like when Luciano began? How has it transformed over the decades? And what trends does he foresee shaping the future of M&A? From his early days at Electrolux to leading global deals across 50 offices worldwide, Luciano shares insights on integration, people, and long-term strategy. Without further ado, let's dive in.
Okay, Luciano, welcome to the podcast. Now, as someone who's led over 250 M&A deals and in a joint venture with Saeed Group, which is under, from my understanding, the CEO of Emirates Airlines, private office, I really want to focus on three questions in this podcast. So, number one, how did the M&A world look when you got started? How has the game changed today? And what do you anticipate the future to look like? So the first question I really want to get started with is, from my understanding, you started your career in Brazil during a pretty volatile market. Can you walk us through your first ever deal and what it looked like during that time as well?
Yes, thanks so much for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here and a good opportunity to talk with your audience and all the public that follow you guys. I started my career in early 90s, and that's a really different market because was before European Union, before globalization, everything was different. Just start the cross-border operations. My first deal was in 1994 that I was working for a Swedish company called Electrolux, and they are investing in Brazil. And the idea is to be more global. And at this time, in the early 90s, you don't have a lot of VCs and PEs work in the market. It was more strategic deals for integration, vertical integration and the horizontal integration. It's more players buying players. And at this time, we bought a Brazilian company called Prosdóximo to grow the operation in Brazil and to enter the market. And from there, I moved to London to help the group to reorganize through M&A to start the new European community, the European Union, that we started in 2019, 1998. And that was back to 96, 97. And we bought one company in Germany, one company in Italy, and two in UK to reorganize the market and to be global. So that time was less PEs, less VCs. The valuations was not a lot of comparables for valuation, not discounted cash flow. You ask how much that you want for the company or not. It was really different. The due diligence was not electronic. You imagine all everything that's because it's just behind the internet. The internet was just starting. The cell phone is just starting. So everything was by fax, by telex, everything is by hand, and the accountant was by hand, by books. And when you tell books value today, that's just you mean about book value. At this time, it was really a book value because you go through the books to see the value of the company and all the accountants. So it was a really, really different time. It's more in, that you trust people, you trust the market, and after you discover the liabilities. So different kind of operation from today.
Wow, that's interesting. I'm curious from that first deal as well, what was a principle you took from that deal that you've kept even up to today in your career?
Sorry, can you ask again?
Yeah, no, what from that first ever deal you did, like what was a principle that you took away? What was a key lesson that you learned that you've kept even up to today in the over 250 deals that you've done?
Yeah, I think if I can just take one point is post-merge or post-acquisition integration. That's the key point because everything that you plan in your evaluation, your business plan, in your cap table, go through after integration. And most people don't know how to do the integration. What I used to do in our methodology in our company worldwide is to start integration during the negotiation. Because when you go for integration, people understand who you be in the team, who you be not, and you build a trust, and you can go a little bit more deep in the operation. Because when it just goes to dues, okay, you put in your spreadsheet, you go valuation, you negotiate, but you forget about the next day. And the day zero, the day one, the day two is the most important one, the first 9 days to the integration. So what I recommend everyone that go to M&A is start to do an integration team before you start the negotiation. That could be a process during the negotiation, the integration process.
What are some key strategies, and I guess when you're looking at integrating a company, whether you're looking at it from a strategic perspective where you're adding on a business or you're buying a platform, like how are you starting that process so early? Like what does that actually look like?
DJ, one thing is most important thing in all the deals, in all the business, people. Everything is about people. So you have to talk with the people, go to the ground. Because when you start negotiation, you go with C-level boards or advisors. That's everything is beautiful. It's like Disney World, yeah. Everything works, no problem. Everything is perfect. But when you go to the ground and start to talk with the people on the ground of the factory, or you go for not for the CFO, but for the guys on the treasury, the guys that operate daily. When you go to talk with the sales people, the sales reps, when you go ground in the business, that's the key value. Because everything after you close the deal, after you sign and pay, it starts about the people. And if people are comfortable with you, you are comfortable with the people, and you have a good integration before, and they know how you play the next 9 days, they will be comfortable. And that's come the value. What I say for the people is stay 90 days inside of the company before you close the deal. That's key point for me. And everything change. It's a game change when you are inside of the company, talk with the people in logistics, go to see the inventory, you start to work inside of the company before you close the deal.
Interesting. You mentioned obviously people being kind of the key point. What are some traits you look in, a leader of a business, like a CEO, an entrepreneur, et cetera, when you're looking to do an acquisition? What are some key traits that you're looking in that leader?
Yeah, the leader is very important because usually they put the company to start and they stand the company. But even if you have a good entrepreneur or a good leader, no one do anything sozinho, alone. Everything is about team. Everything is about ground. You could have a good, very good founder, but if this team is not good, you have not a good company. And if you have not a really good average founder, but with a beautiful high performance team, that's the best deal. I look for the second and third level all the time. The first level usually is good because you are buying company because the company is good usually. So that's okay. But go for the second and third level. The second and third level is most important for the valuation to the sustainable business.
And I'm curious, like tactically, because obviously you've been doing deals now for almost 30 years or over 30 years. What do you look for as like pillars of a good company? Like what does a good company look like to you?
Depend on what is your strategy for M&A, Sharon.
Yeah.
Why? Because you are buying like a distressed company. It's not what are assets that you have or clients that you have. But if you're to an integration company, what is the process and the operations? If you go for like expand your portfolio, that you're looking for cash flow, or if you're like a PE or a VC that you have a strategy to go for IPO in 2 to 3 years, you have to buy business that can add value, can grow fast. So it's not a perfect deal. I think each deal is a customized deal for your strategy, not one fits all, you know?
For sure. Are there any non-negotiables that you have in deals though, for any deal that you do?
Yeah, one negotiable for us, we work around the world. We have offices in Europe, in US, in Brazil, in the Middle East. Non-negotiable for us it's about legality.
Mm.
It's about transparency. Everything that should be legal should be in very good standing the legal point. Because when you have problems with issues with legal points, and today with geopolitics changing, China, tariffs, Russian, BRICS, India, US, that could be very important. When you look for the legal point and taxations, that could be a very important point for today. I think if I what I'm looking more for the deals today, if you look for 2025, everything is about geopolitics. People that are not operating in one geopolitics, they are buying another company or sell companies just to go from uh, taxation, from go for regulations, or even for barriers that you have today in imposing the new markets.
I'm very curious. We kind of started the conversation surrounding your original business, Vital. I think it was Vital Business Transformation. What did your role look like in that original company when you were trying to get it off the ground versus what it looks like today? With I think you have over 40 offices globally. How has your role changed?
Yeah. Uh, for today, I can say for you, AI. AI changed everything. Really, really a game changer for due diligence, for market research, for understand the business, and for growth as well. We are here. I'm in Saudi Arabia today. I'm in Riyadh, and we are looking for deals here uh, uh, in AI because AI change everything. And mainly if you are very heavy in people and the in process, AI can change your costs, can change your coverage. So I think the game change today is AI. Back in the early 90s, early 2000s, everything was starting with internet system, uh, ARPs and SAP just starting at this time as well. So everything is integrated today. But AI is a game changing for the future of M&A, for everything, but mainly for M&A.
How do you see AI specifically applying to what you guys are doing? Like, how are you guys tactically using AI in both the process of buying companies and like what types of AI companies are you guys looking at?
Great. For research, for market research, for review the business plan, for due diligence, everything you can scan and use the AI to be faster and more effective. And really, really, you have less costs to do due diligence, to do the market research. You accelerate the process, and you need less investment, less people working the process. Even for contracts, everything. I think the whole process today should be supported by AI.
Interesting. And you mentioned you guys are also looking to invest in AI. What layer of AI are you guys looking at? Like, are you guys looking at just different types of AI startups, established AI companies? What kind of AI companies are you guys looking to invest in?
Yeah, we are backed by the private officer of Sheikh Al Maktoum, the family, royal family in Dubai, and we are working with a MISC Foundation here as well in Saudi Arabia. And here is, if I can say, you'll be the next Silicon Valley. You'll be the next hub for AI in the world. Heavily investing, educating people, and I can see three different pillars: education, consulting, and fundraising. That's the new reshape of M&A in the world today. You cannot do anything without a new education. People they are prepared to use the technology, and the technology is changing very fast. And if you can have good people using that, this is a game changer for valuation, for accelerating the growth of the business.
Wonderful. I'm very curious. How did that partnership with the Seed Group actually start? How did that come to be? And yeah, what are some core, I guess, areas of focus for you guys in 2025?
Yeah, we just started last year. We are growing the world, and the Middle East was the last part of the world for us to come. We just opened in Australia as well, so we're really global, from China to US, from Australia to Brazil, and we are looking for where will be the next stable place for the next 30 years, where the investments are coming. And if you look for the BRICS, China, Russia, India, Brazil, and UAE as well, UAE is the most stable place. And they have a good connection. It's a new Switzerland. Everyone talks with the Arabics. Uh, they are not big issues. Like you cannot trade between US and Russia, but you can trade between US and UAE, Russia and UAE. Here's the hub. And another point is, as here is, you have the royal families, you are not changing a lot the power, like in US, in Brazil, and democracy, that you can change every 4 years. Here you are looking for more long term. And I think when you look for M&A or look for valuation, look for sustainable growth, you have to look for more long time. And here's the point for us. We decided to change our headquarters here, and we were invited for this partnership, for this joint venture. And we're very happy because everything today in the world is crossing here. If you look for Mr. Trump, the first travel, international travel, was for Saudi Arabia and the UAE. And here you have very stable place, and the M&A is growing the region as well. From last year for this year is growing more than 20%.
Interesting. You mentioned kind of that long-term thinking. Like, what are the major differences between like a traditional private equity group that's buying companies, maybe a traditional family office, and then a royal family office? And I'm assuming you guys are able to think much more long-term, but I'd love to hear it from your perspective. What are the major differences?
Yeah, when you look like for a PE or a VC, good guys, very very well prepared, but they're in sometimes as a founder, or sometimes as a C level in the operating as an executive. That guy need to put money and take out the money between 5 to 7 years. When you look for royal families, they are looking for the next 100 years, for the next 30 years. Nothing is just about money, but about people, about job creation, about wealth. So you have a different play. Of course, they are looking for investment, for returns, but at the same time, they are looking for more geopolitics and more for the society as well. If you look here, like in Saudi Arabia, they are building the first all non-profit city in the world. So the different view from a VC or a PE, that all the money stay inside of the city. So we can change, you can experiment, you can look for more long term. And that's really a difference. And I think when you look for people, and M&A business is about the impact in the people's life, you are more looking like here. And like if you look for pharmaceutical, for health, for defense, I think that's a really game change. They are not looking just for the cash flow for the next 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. They are looking for sustainable, for the power, for making people a different life.
100%. And obviously, your average deal is you're trying to say in 5 to 7 years. With this is 100 years. What are the kind of industries that are different that you're looking at that you maybe haven't looked at before when working with the royal family?
Yeah, of course, tech, everything that use AI, and you have a combination today, a fusion between like AI and healthcare. That's a very big concern. They are consolidating all the tech with health as well. The another point is defense and tech. All the defense are growing by the tech side. If you look for drones or for surveillance, it's a lot of deals going around the world with all the geopolitics and the wars come. Even in Europe, defense is another big point, big sweet point in the world. And of course, food and biotech. That's another fusion between food and biotech. If you look for longevity and people living about 90s, 100 years, food and biotech is crucial, is vital for that. And food security, of course, around the world is fueled and good in M&A.
Totally. I want to take a step back too, because you were part of Harvard's like owners and presidents management program, and I'm curious from going through that class, how has that also shaped? Like, what did you learn from that you've taken on in M&A, and what did you not learn from that class too that you've realized while doing M&A?
Wonderful. The first thing, everything is about people. Everything is about network and connection. Who you know. because it's difficult to make a deal or to fundraising if you don't know people. When you know people and you have the connection, you have the doors open around the world. And that's a key point when you have a royal family backing you. You have access a lot of people, and like you go to Harvard, and you have as well a lot of backing and the 93,000 alumni at Harvard Business School. So everything is about people and connection. And another good point is you can be a very good CEO, founder. Everything is about how to make good questions. The right question for the right people, and you can motivate people and you can conduct people. I think the leadership is not to give the way, but define the way if you're a team, if you're customers, if you're marketing. And everything is about people and good questions. That is the best lessons that we have learned. Because all the subjects, all the techniques, you can find by free on YouTube, on internet, on ChatGPT today. It's free for you. It's not about the content, but it's about connection and how you manage the information with your people.
That's gold. So talk to me, if everything's about people and connections, and you've obviously been able to make some incredible connections and be able to work with a royal family, what are some key, I guess you could say, networking strategies or tactics or principles that you've learned over the years in your 30 plus years in the game?
DJ, if I can say, it's everything about love. If you love what you do, if you love to talk with the people, if you love the business, when you have a powerful love, a power inside of you doing the business, everything changes. No, you can say, oh, the decision is rational. In the end of the day, it's not. I see a lot of deals that people are not selling for one person for a high ticket and selling for another person for a low ticket because they have a connection, they have love, they have patience in that. Everything is about that. Like we are here. We are here about patience. We are not paying anyone, paying each other to stay here. We love to talk about that. That's our passion. People that are listening us, it's loving to do that, to listen, to learn. So I can say for you, all the M&As, all the business, it's about patience, it's about love in my view.
That's gold as well. Yeah, I'm very curious as well. Like you're managing so many different people. Your organization has grown across, the entire globe. You have 40 plus offices. How are you able to just to manage an organization that large and all the companies that you're buying with thousands of employees, I'm assuming? How are you able to be at the top and still have kind of connection and spread that love throughout a larger organization?
Yeah. First, good people. Second, good people. And third, good people. If you have good people, you can imagine that. It's not easy to work in different time zones, travel a lot. I love to do the deals in person. It's not easy. But if you love that you are doing, you go to do that. And you have people that you have a good connection, you go to do that. The key point is people. All the time, if you have good people, you have the right people in the right position, that's it. Motivation, I think right people is the key for any business and for any success in life.
Yeah, and kind of piggybacking off of DJ's question, I'm curious, with an organization that large that you run now, what does your day-to-day look like? What are you doing? What does your average day look like? It sounds like you're traveling a lot. You have many different homes. You have offices all over the world. I'm curious, what does that look like day to day for you?
Yeah. Everything should be simple. To work should be simple. If you don't sell a company in one page, it's because it's not a good company. Everything is about one page. Because when you talk with investors or in M&A, the other side is professional. They know their business. They know what they are negotiating. Both sides know. If you don't do a good business in one page, that's not a good business. So it should be very simple. The another point is to be available for the people. We have a method that scale the negotiations and the deals to have that. Another point is I have more than 700 WhatsApp groups, and I have my people inside that. And what I have to ask and what they have to ask. Because 9%, 95% of the questions are the same. Businesses are doing the same. Like if you go for ChatGPT today, and we can answer 99% everything. So I have to use my time very well. So I have a lot of slots for sleepy to eat. I have a lot of discipline to work because it's not easy. Sometimes you are in a time zone that is 4 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning that you have to wake up for a meeting. So I have a lot of slots and a good, very doctor that put me in a high performance for health.
I love it. I I want to focus also now on like the future, and as someone who's been in M&A for 30 years, I'm curious like what emerging trends do you see in M&A, and what are you anticipating and positioning yourself for the next, say, decade now?
Yeah, I think less juice with high ticket because people understand that the cost of integration, the difficulties of integration, they're looking for a juice uh, bigger with bigger ticket that you put more money in one deal and you have less fixed cost to do that. Second point, I think America is still very powerful in M&A, but if I look for some trends, the Middle East. The Middle East will full the next 5 to 10 years. I think every deal will come with part of the Middle East. If you look for segments, technology, finance, power, energy, food security, and biotech, I think will be the future for M&As and consolidations. Less in retail, less in ground operations, but more in tech side and things that you can scale very fast globally. And the key point will be, anyway, the post-integration. And in the end of the day, as was in 90s and the 2000s, 2010, and now about people. You have to love people, how to manage people, how to lead people, how to negotiate, how to have a good connection, good networking. I think the future is not different from today if you look for good connections and about people. Even if you use AI and another technologies, you have to use people because people have to ask for AI. And the end of the day, your customer is people. People you are buy your product or not. So I think the future is still about people and about the human side of the business.
You mentioned the UAE being kind of a major trend and growth area, and obviously as someone who's kind of behind the scenes working with the royal family, what are some key reasons that you feel the UAE is going to be an explosive market, and what are some key, I guess, factors that are adding to the growth in the UAE?
Yeah. I think first because it's a neutral market. You will talk with every country. That you can talk with Russians and Americans. You can talk with Chinese and the British. That's easy. That's a key point. The second point, it's in the middle of the world, really. So you have a good time zone, a good climate, and the long-term view that we talked before. They're looking for more long-term, and they're attracting a lot of investment and tax efficiency. That's the most tax efficiency in the world today. You can say about Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And the UAE is doing a lot of things in that and very safe in the legal point that you can use these countries. And of course, if you're a millionaire or you're a billionaire, it's a safe place to put your family about violence, life quality, health. So that's a kind of thing that is a perfect storm for the Middle East now.
We've talked about earlier the long-term thinking and the ability to look 30 years, 50 years, 100 years into the future. How are you, as someone who's leading investments, with that long-term view, how are you able to look that far into the future and see, where you should be making investments with 100 years in mind?
Yeah, that's a good question, DJ. We have just one question all the time. Is this business not changing in the next 5 years? If it's not changing, you can invest. If it's changing, don't know how you change and for where. That we're betting. If you want to bet, go to Las Vegas and have a lot of fun and bet there as well. That's about betting. Things that you are not changing, that's the best and good investment. Like people you still eating food. it's a good investment. You be more people buying food, it's a good investment. Things that you in the next 5, 10 years you be quite the same or just a small improvements, they tend to be more profitable, more cash generation in the next upcoming years, like transportation, defense, healthcare, things that you can improve, but you have to use. When you go for high techs or things like that, that's too much trend. Maybe you are right, maybe you are wrong. You never know. That's just a betting.
That makes sense. I'm curious as well, like outside of the UAE, outside of the Middle East, what are some other continents, countries you see that are really coming up in M&A and are good spots to potentially invest as well?
Yeah. I think in all the Europe, you be have a big reorganization in the companies in there, with the families, with business, different regulations. Of course, US is still a powerhouse in the world, and it continue to be and will be. I think South America, if you look for Latin America, from Mexico to Brazil, Argentina, everything you change in the next 5 to 10 years, that will be a lot of opportunity in that. And a lot of new countries come, like Pakistan, like Indonesia, big countries with big economies that are just growing. People that were not looking for that, but a lot of good business in there and a lot of investment doing for these new countries in Asia.
I'd love to kind of switch focus and I love to dig into people's war stories and mistakes. What are some, over your long career in M&A, what are some either bad deals you've made, bad people you've worked with? What are some war stories and mistakes that you've made that have kind of shaped your view on the markets today?
DJ, if I can say something, is try to be so fast. When you try to buy or to sell so fast, for sure you leave a lot of room for mistakes. What I say today is, if the deal is good today, the deal will be good in the next 90 days. So go a little bit calm, go deep in the operations, go to talk with the second and third layers, because when you talk with the CEOs, C-level, or founders, they have a dream, they have a passion about the business. But most of the time, they don't know what is the problems, the bottlenecks on the ground. The biggest mistake that I did before was not to go for the second and third level, not to know the people that I will work in the next day. I think the most important, the people for the next day. When you talk with them, go to dinner, for lunch with them, stay some time with the second level, that's the key point. When I didn't do that, just talk with advisors, legal side, CEOs and founders, we have another company, another picture.
Do you have a specific story of a deal that went wrong for those reasons?
Yeah, well, one time we're negotiating for a client, and the client asked us to operate the business. And okay, the deal was made. Basically, we just went for to review the valuation, but they did a binding offer. When we went for the second layer, we saw a lot of misinformation there, and things that was not put in the papers. And the valuation was different for us. The liability was so big. But as was a binding offer, they could not go back. So that was big mistake for, and things was wrong, and the people lost a lot of money. At the end of the day, the company value zero, was not a value of the company because of the liabilities that we have there.
I'm curious, what were those things in the management level that you identified in due diligence and you realized it wasn't as valuable as they said?
If I can say 3 points to put people plus one, put someone in the logistics to look for the logistics, how the logistics runs day by day. Second one, put in the finance, how the treasury is going, the accounts are paying, the banks are negotiating, and stay there for 6, 9 days with people looking for the treasury side, the management of the finance day by day. The another point is operation. the factory, the ground of the factory. And plus one, go out with the salespeople, go to visit clients, go to visit stores, go to visit distributors, that you understand a little bit more about the business, if the business is good or not. And somehow we use like hardline customers, research, market research to understand a little bit about the customer and the company before we go for the deals now.
That makes sense. We always like to end these interviews, these episodes with kind of one question, and it really focuses on if you were making your first deal today, say you were a young investor starting out making your first deal, but you had the knowledge that you've built over the last 30 years, what's kind of a mental checklist that you would run through before pursuing your first ever deal as an investor?
First thing, how can I go out from this deal? Yeah, if things go wrong, how I go out, and things go good, how I go out. The exit strategy. Before you go in, learn how to go out. The exit strategy is everything because you don't realize money when you go in, but it's when you go out. That's the first point. Second point, if you like the business, if you love the business, if you understand the business, because it's not easy to run a business day by day. If you like something, go for this market. And another point, who you work with you, who you partner with you in this business. And I love to ask for advice. I go for good people, interested people, and they ask, oh, I'm going for this deal. Do you like to go with me? If people put $1, that's a good deal. If no one put the money, you don't do a syndicalization, don't go alone. Ask for good people to go with you. Don't be greedy. Share the opportunity. Because when you share the opportunity, you share the risk, and you have more people coming. Some people sometimes go in the first deal, oh, I found the deal. I go alone, I don't tell for anyone. That's a big mistake. Go for family and friends, go for advisors, go for your old professor in the university, and talk with the people about the deal before. And invite people to come with you. Because everything is about people. You cannot handle a deal alone. Share the risk, share the profit, share life. That could be the best advice for people, for young people investing.
Luciano, thank you so much. That was a masterclass. We appreciate you coming on, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. It'll be a pleasure. Everything that I contribute and I can collaborate, please just ask me. It'll be a pleasure, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time.